But you said something interesting, that you're learning nonviolent communication.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Nonviolent communication is the most practical and simple tool, actually, that I encountered so far for healing. It's used a lot to like not negotiate, but help people when they fight, or couples, or groups, or just two people. It just gives you like the instructions of how one can communicate in a way that will be authentic, in a way that you're still connected to what's alive in you, to your feelings, to your needs, and how do you communicate that in a way that is way easier for people to see you and to want to help you, and to not be like defending or attacking or feeling blamed. It's pretty amazing.
What are like some of the tricks you could say? Like, what's the main like points there?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you two main points. One is for a situation where you have a charge and you have like an issue with someone. How do you communicate that? And the other point is, what do you do when someone has charge towards you and is like blaming you or judging you? So whenever I feel a trigger or a not pleasant emotion towards someone, and I want to tell it to them, I want to communicate. I don't want to just ignore it and then be like passive aggressive. It's also violent.
Yeah.
So I want to tell it to them. So first thing is to find out what exactly happened that stimulated my emotion, and to say it very concretely and clearly, without any judgment or story or diagnosis. For example, let's say you were late. Let's say we schedule a meeting and you were late, and for some reason it messed with my whole day and I was really pissed. So I can come and tell you, you're not reliable. Come and tell you, you're not trustworthy. You're a messy person. You always forget. Always.
Yeah.
You always forget. But so no, I will not say diagnosis or any thoughts of you. I will tell exactly what happened, that like practically, physically, what was done that caused me to feel. So I will tell you, Lacey, when you came 30 minutes after the hour we meet, I felt angry. So I put it on the action, not on you as a person, because you can't make me feel anything. Like it's the way I think about it. So I first make a clear observation, what happened to stimulate my feeling. Then I communicate how I feel. I'm connected to my feelings. I felt angry. I felt sad. And also I like to incorporate this method with a different world of self-development, which is called possibility management. It's amazing. It's something different. But in possibility management, they say and they teach you that there are only 4 basic feelings. Which is anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And all the rest, like disappointment and despair and confusion and whatever, is just different combinations
of these 4.
And mixes of these 4. So for me, it makes me even more connected to my feelings when I only focus on these 4. Oh, okay, I'm sad. Oh, I'm angry. Oh, I feel fear. Fear, I find, is the one that is the hardest to recognize.
Probably depends on a person, but yeah, for you it's fear.
That's actually also another part of also nonviolent communication and possibility management, to not talk in general, to always talk about myself. So right now I didn't do it and you helped me to remember. For me, it's hardest to recognize when I feel fear. I only talk about me. Anyways, so I locate what happened, how I feel, and then I communicate, and maybe it's the most important part, what need of mine it didn't meet. So Lacey, when you showed up to our meeting 30 minutes after the time I was anticipating, I felt very angry because my day was really full and I didn't have a lot of time to waste that day. And I had a very important meeting after, and it was very important for me to do with you what we wanted to do, and I had a need to have enough time. I had a need to whatever need the situation conflicted with you, or maybe I didn't feel seen. Maybe I felt disrespected, and I have a need to feel respected. So when I'm connected to my needs, and I communicate them in a non-violent way, it's much easier for the other person to be connected to me and to understand me and to not feel like I'm making them wrong.
Yeah, that's so big. Like when you were just talking to me, even though it's an example that, like, it's a fictional example, I felt like opening. It's like you want to be there for a person if he's so vulnerable and he's telling you such a, in a nice way.
He's revealing himself.
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Yeah, it's intimacy, exactly.
Yeah, super nice. Well, for our listeners, I think it's super important because I feel there's so much value here. I just want to say, like, take a pause for a second and write down the things if you want to get something very useful from this.
Yeah, I will definitely stop and write it down.
Yeah, definitely. Because, I feel like simple. I want to write it down myself, but I have time with you after our podcast. So. But just for a reminder, so first thing is to state what happened, the situation, action, like you were late, and that made me feel angry.
Say exactly what stimulated my feeling, but in a practical way. What happened? Don't tell judgments, stories, diagnoses, like you were too something. No, I'm not diagnosing your psychology now. You're not to anything. This happened, and so I felt angry. How I feel, and what need of mine, what do I need? What need of mine wasn't met in that situation. I had a need for safety. I needed to know that I'm going to make it to my second appointment on time. So I got very scared. So I was angry and scared, and I had a need for, certainty.